head into the Ringerverse to stay up to date with all things superheroes and nerd culture entertainment. Hosted by a rotating lineup of superfans at The Ringer, including Mallory Rubin and Van Lathan, shows will provide instant reactions to blockbuster releases, insightful backstories on canon, and mind-bending theories, as well as fresh takes on the latest news and rumors. Check out The Ringerverse on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts.
This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com. This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. Welcome to Bachelor Party. I'm Juliet Litman. It's Thursday. I've got Callie here. Hi, Callie.
Hello, hello.
How are you doing?
I am living the life in Cabo, Mexico. So I am just more relaxed than ever.
I feel like last week you shared 2 things. One was that you don't like to go in the ocean, just like to look at it from a pool. And that the other is that you don't like to pose for influencer photos. And then you promptly did both of those things on your Instagram. I thought it was so funny.
Yeah, not planned at all and didn't even realize I was doing it until after I posted those photos and got so many DMs from people being like, "You're not that bad of a poser. Like, what are you talking about?" And I was like, all right, 1, maybe I'm harsh on myself. That's 1. 2, I think I'm just uncomfortable and awkward while doing it. Maybe if you take 500 photos of me with a professional photographer and no one else around, yeah, I might be able to get like 1 or 2 good ones. But like, am I the person that can walk down the street and be like, "Hey, random person, take 1,700 pictures of me posing randomly on a street corner"? No, I can't do that.
Me neither. Selfies are so weird. But anyway, I thought that was just really funny. So who knows what will come out this week and then you'll be doing immediately after.
Also,
we'll find out.
Pool looking over the beach is like best case scenario.
It looks beautiful. I'm quite jealous. I've never been to Cabo. It looks wonderful.
I stand by my statement that that's the best setup.
It looks really nice. Yeah. Who could fight you on it? Let's talk about The Bachelor. And then at the end, we'll catch up on Below Deck Sailing Yacht, which it's just been, what a journey with that show. I can't believe it. Honestly, Below Deck Med is back and I used to love Med. I still like it. But I was just like not ready to move on. Not ready to move on from these people and from this drama. So
yeah, I still have questions that need to be answered from Sailing Yacht. So I think that's what makes it harder to move on.
And just, Danny's situation is tragic, getting worse by the day. Just feel for her. Anyway, we'll come back to that at the end. Let's start with Thomas. Callie, you've been the captain of Team Thomas for quite some time. I think a lot of your opinions are coming home to roost. You also have been the captain of Team Blake. And I feel like both of them are sort of like, they're riding high. So you posted some polls on your Instagram. Yeah. What was the Thomas feedback like?
People don't like Thomas. I don't know why.
Not?
I don't get it.
He didn't do anything.
I mean, I think it's just easy to like jump on the bandwagon. A lot of people are just like, he's an idiot. Like, why would you say that? Totally get that. I'm not saying that he said everything the right way. Definitely fucked up a little bit there.
Yeah.
But I'm like, he's saying what every single guy on there thinks. Like, there's just no world you go on that show and you don't think there's a potential to increase my platform and there's a potential for me maybe to be Bachelor. Like, it's just something that can happen. It's stating the obvious. should he have said it to the group of guys? First of all, why the fuck are you even talking to the guys? Like, I'm like, you don't owe them anything to tell them how you really feel about things. If I was Thomas, I would have been like, no, of course not. Like, why do I need to tell you guys anything?
Seriously, it's like, should you become friends with the people in the house? I actually don't know the answer to that. Like, I think if you're going to have fun, if you feel like you don't have a connection with the lead, then I feel like you just have to like go for friendships and go for laughs. But if you do have a connection with the lead, like, is it a good use of time to befriend people? I don't know.
No, I also would say that every other season, I'd be like, no, you do not need to make friends. This season, where the guys are controlling the vote, you do. you have to get the numbers on your side. Like, I was thinking, like, next episode, who are they going to gang up on? Like, who's next up? That they're all just going to be like, no, we don't like. Yeah.
It's going to be Blake. They're going to be pissed. You're never happy when a new person comes into the house. It's definitely going to be him, but she's affirmatively chosen him. So if she like quickly changes her mind and lets the tribe change the vote, then I don't know what that would say about Katie. There's no way that happens.
I hope not, because I'm Team Blake over here, and I'd like to see it. I also think that it seemed like they had some chemistry there.
She seems excited about him. She seemed nervous when she went to the door, when she was like swinging her arms. I was like, oh, that's like a nervous thing. That's cute.
I thought the whole thing was cute. Even him getting locked out afterwards. Like, I just thought it was
I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I loved it. I loved it all. I also obviously love Blake. So like anything was probably going to make me happy.
Well, why do you love Blake? Like, what is it about him? Because I don't think he's cute. I mean, he's not like ugly, but like I'm not attracted to him personally.
I think he's cute, maybe because of his personality. I thought with Claire, he was great. Like, you really got to know him with Claire. He was one of the front runners.
If there could ever been a front runner other than Dale. Yeah.
Outside of Dale, he was one of the ones that got a lot of TV time. So I felt like I got to know him, loved him. And then like with Tayshia, I was hoping that he would do well. And I was just like, he's just not going to do well. He's still like fucked up about like getting switched over from Claire to Tayshia. Like, you could tell he wasn't fully bought in on Tayshia.
He doesn't do well with change, I feel. I feel like he decides he wants something or someone, and he goes for it, and he can't change course.
I think he tried with Tayshia, and I mean, she's gorgeous. So I feel like he was like, I mean, why not? Yeah, let me just try. But like, you could tell he was just not there like he was with Claire. So I didn't feel like anyone on Claire's season, by the way, got a real chance. So I'm happy to have him back. So I think he's cute from Claire's season.
And he was cute. He they talked about how he DM'd her, and he like read the book about, I think, like parental grief, which is really cute. That goes one of two ways. It's either really cute and you're like, oh, you're interested in me, or it's like, oh my God, that's horrifying. Take a step back.
Creepy. Yeah. Speaking of creepy, I feel like there is a little bit of there's a few creepers on this season.
Like who? Who's creepy to you?
I think, listen, Greg's one-on-one was great, but the last date, I think maybe it's the date setup too, like the group therapy. And then this date, I was just like, this is just like really showing, I cringed too much, I think, in this season.
Greg was just a total L on the group date this week.
But he thought he did great.
I know, that's part of the problem. He thought he crushed it.
Yeah. I thought Andrew S. crushed the entire episode.
Would you have eaten those tacos and the Lunchable meat that he brought? He brought, quote unquote.
Yeah. I am a Taco Bell person. So
me too.
Yes.
I love Taco Bell. But do you think that was actually from Taco Bell? I too love Taco Bell. What's your order? We discussed this on Monday as well.
I am a very like plain Taco Bell order. So one, I get the nachos, but it's just the chips and the cheese, not anything else. Like, you get a little, it's 99 cents.
So it's like going to the movies when you get nachos.
Yeah, it's like chips and a little thing of cheese. The chips are so freaking good. I don't get how they're so good. They don't taste like normal, or who knows what they're made out of, honestly. It's from Taco Bell.
Yeah, seriously.
But I get the chips and the cheese, and then I get 2 beef and cheese tacos, soft tacos, just beef and cheese. And then I get 1 Doritos
Loco Crunch
taco. Yeah.
Yum. I like a double-decker taco and cheesy gordita crunch, but I also just like the fresco tacos. Taco Bell is great. That's just all I want to say.
I think it's top 3, 2 a.m. Yeah. Like, after drinking. That's probably, Like, I don't want McDonald's anymore. Like Taco Bell's usually like I used to want Jack in the Box.
I love Jack in the Box tacos. Have you had those? Two tacos
yes.
for $1. So
Did
good.
you also know that it's not meat?
It's not meat. It's like soy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was addicted I was addicted to them at one point in my life when I had to work like 17-hour days, and I would just like run and get them. And at one point, one of my, I don't know if she's vegetarian or vegan friends was like with me. And I looked it up and I was like, you can have one. They're soy.
Yeah. Totally. It might not even be real cheese in there. They're so good though. Taco Bell and Jack in the Box for tacos is my top 2 late night drive-through experiences, particularly in an Uber. I just feel like that's just a great Los Angeles experience.
I would agree with you pre-pandemic. Post-pandemic, I'm not taking freaking Uber because they're $700 to go
really
like a mile. It's easier to just hop on a bird scooter and risk your life for 20 minutes and get to where you need to go.
That's a great point. Yeah. Ubers are so expensive. In New York during the pandemic, I was like, I'm not paying for an Uber. I will continue to take the subway. I'm just fine. Thank you very much. It's insane.
The Uber prices are insane right now. I had to take one recently and I was like, wait, what?
In LA, they were low pre-pandemic, like compared to other cities, but now I've heard they're really high. So anyway.
High and hard to get. So
not great.
Find you a bird.
Ugh. So do you think that was really Taco Bell based on your expert opinion? I was like, no way. But then I looked it up. The closest Taco Bell is 4 miles. So it could have been.
I did not think it was not Taco Bell till now that you're bringing it up. And I'm like, it did look like a much heavier taco than a Taco Bell taco.
It also like around the tacos, it had, there was Lunchable meat.
Lunchables.
Like, yeah.
Which I thought was like, did she mention anything about Lunchables?
No. A weird thing that's like kind of part of Bachelor adjacent culture is like a charcuterie board. And this guy, Jared Freed, who's a comedian, has come on this pod a few times, like was grading a lot of charcuterie boards. Like his thing is like, he's like the board lord or whatever. But then Matt, during his season, was making charcuterie boards every Monday. And they were like stupid ones. They were like, having like s'mores, like Dunkaroos on them or like other like kid food like that. Like not like a tasteful charcuterie board or a cheese board.
I would love a Dunkaroo charcuterie board.
I love Dunkaroos, of course. I love kid food. I recently went to the grocery store and I bought noodles like for the swimming pool and Cheerios. And I was like, do I have a kid? No. Am I buying this stuff? Yes.
I also am not against Lunchables. I just thought when I saw it on the side, I was like, what is it? Why?
I don't know. I like, it was just really weird. It was a weird touch. And that whole board was like, just silly. Also, notably though, they did eat. That was like one of the only times they actually eat on the show.
I also was thinking, I wonder how hot these tacos are. Cause as you know, with like filming, I was like, these tacos have to be so cold.
They looked gross.
I don't know if I love cold Taco Bell.
No, me neither. But hot Taco Bell is wonderful. Cold fast food in general, it's like fast food because it's made quickly and should be eaten quickly. It's like as soon as possible.
Well, yeah. Also, I feel like it like turns into something else.
Yes.
You like leave it on the counter for like longer than a day. You're like, I don't know what I ordered because this is not that anymore.
Yeah, seriously. Andrew S., that was cute though. I just feel like the English accent, time to retire it. Although one thing that has come to light, this has come up a lot. Katie was wearing the same white sweater when she met Blake on the bench that she wore on the therapy date with Nick. And so it's very clear. And many people pointed this out on social media, including, I think, Morgan P on TikTok. That's been heavily circulated. So it's clear that like that was shown kind of out of order, which just leads you to think about everything. And I'm like, Andrew S., time to retire the British accent. But like maybe in real time, he's only been there a week. And so he's like still rocking with this bit.
Yeah, I also think like the date was kind of set up for something like that. Like it wasn't a serious situation. Like I thought it was fine for him to have the English accent in that moment. Also because he did so well, I was like, fine. Sure. If he did like what Greg did, I would have been like, please stop. Did you know
that Greg was doing a bit from Horrible Bosses? I learned this after the fact.
Oh, no, I did not.
He started out doing like a bit from Horrible Bosses and then kept it going for reasons unbeknownst to me.
Too long.
Yeah, way too long.
No, yes, I didn't know that. I did also see Morgan P's TikTok about the editing error, which clearly the last 2 weeks, something happened with the editing because like we got one date this week, which is like not enough.
And only two last week.
Yeah. So it's like something happened, or there was too much content because of Thomas, I think, that they have split this one episode into two.
Right. Yeah, I guess so. And it just the rose ceremony stuff was confusing. So it's like, yeah, though this is the fourth episode, I think it's only the second or third elimination.
Yeah, which maybe there's going to be a bigger elimination happening because I feel like it's moving kind of slow, which also there was a lot of comments on my Instagram about just people just like not loving the season.
It's not, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard to like be like week 4 I'm out because I'm going to continue watching it. We're going to continue talking about it. It's
For
just
sure.
like, yeah, it's just, but it is true. Like it's like missing something. What do you think it is? I think the lack of travel is really getting to be a problem.
Yeah, maybe also since this is not the first season where there's lack of travel, it's just kind of like, okay, we've been here, done this. Like, you know, the dates you can only do so much especially in New Mexico. Like, I don't know what
in cold New Mexico.
Yeah. Like, what are you supposed to do? I don't know what they're going to do now. I think the dates are kind of like, I think usually Chris Harrison is on the show for like a minute and 45 seconds. I think we've talked about this before. Like they're not fully in the, I feel like we see Tayshia and Caitlin a lot. And I'm like,
yeah, their presence feels more intrusive almost.
Yeah. And I'm just like, this is supposed to be Katie doing this by herself, making these decisions by herself, experiencing these guys by herself. Like, I don't think we need Caitlin and Tayshia's opinion about every single thing that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It's like, okay, thanks for weighing in.
Yeah.
I think also, they're just recycling dates, which like they obviously when you do like bungee jumping in like Singapore versus like somewhere else, like it's not like they only do bungee jumping for like one season or whatever it is. But when you have it in a different location and like there's just like different talking points. But like this group date was basically on Tayshia's season. They did like a treasure hunt where she was like in the middle watching.
Yeah.
And they did like the food thing. And it's just getting boring. And because there's not like more natural fighting like you'd get on like the challenge or on Survivor where they're like stuck in like one location without a job. Like it's basically like I was just gonna say like there's not a lot of natural drama. And what I was just about to launch into is like there's a couple different kinds of reality shows. One's a competition show, which is like the challenge and Survivor. One is like a subculture, whether it's like Jersey Shore or Vanderpump Rules and like the friend group, they work together, whatever, they live together maybe. Or it's like these dating shows. And the dating shows, I think you have to work the hardest to fabricate some of the drama. And it's just really hard when you're so limited in what you can do.
Yeah. And like just being stuck in one location for too long of a time. I mean, I also think it's probably much harder. I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but it's probably much harder with a group of guys than a group of girls in one location. Yeah. So I think that maybe Matt's season got away with it a little bit more. And so now having to do it with Katie is just like,
yeah,
like the Thomas stuff was just so like overblown, out of proportion to me.
Yeah. And like we all on this podcast are Team Thomas. We're just like, he did the right thing. He was honest about what it is to be on this show.
Also, his elimination was insane.
Yeah.
Like
I thought that was like rude. I was just like, okay, I guess Katie wanted to have a moment, but that was like, was that necessary?
No. If you wanted to do that to Carl.
Yeah, seriously.
Like,
seriously.
I was just like, I don't know why you chose this moment. Also, like, he came and spoke to you in private and you didn't have this same energy. So it's weird you didn't have that energy then. And since then, he's done nothing but like apologize or like been open and honest. But then you have this energy in front of the guys. Like, I was just like, kind of weird.
Super weird. I felt like that was obviously producer suggested it. And it seemed like Caitlin and Tayshia were also really into that too.
Yeah, I know. But part of me's like, I don't think, and I don't think this of Caitlin and Tayshia, but I feel like girls in general, like friends get like overprotective or it's like, do we really want Katie to be with Thomas? No. So we're going to like push this even more.
Yeah. And I think there's like a tendency among women. I mean, as a woman who's dating and dates, like you and your friends just like demonsterize guys very quickly.
Yes. So, very quickly. Too quickly.
Yeah,
without
totally.
any evidence at all.
Yeah, you're just like, fuck that guy. Like, classic men. Get rid of him, Katie.
I saw this meme this week that my friends and I were like dying at, where it's like when your best friend and her boyfriend, or one of your best friends and her boyfriend break up, and you like all are together and everyone's like bashing him, like he's balding or like whatever, he has a small penis, da da da. And then like 2 days later, she's like, I'm back together with him. And you're like, great.
Yeah.
Great.
We're like, okay, let's just erase that conversation.
Forget everything I said. Please don't tell him anything that I said.
Yeah, you have to be really sure the breakup's going to stick, because otherwise all of the bad things you've said and like your true feelings are out there. So,
which I feel like happens often.
Yeah, because you very quickly just go to like, oh, men don't know how to communicate, or like, oh, he's just wanted to sleep with you, or like, all of the like kind of cliche problems with men. But
that you can say come out, and then they get back together, and you're like, all right, now I have to pretend like we're like homies again. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, is it better with the women to just like be so catty about them, or like, is it better to just like write off all men? I don't know. The thing about the show is like, and this is sort of why I think the last couple of seasons have been so like fraught, is like this show is predicated on like generalizations, cliches, and stereotypes, and also making fun of people. So have to just accept that. Like that's kind of like
it's just gonna happen.
Part of the bargain. And so America seems to be on this journey together, and we just got to do the best that we can. I think it's kind of a relief then when like Greg does something so abjectly weird as like list the states in like a fake Southern accent, because you're just like, this is creepy, man. Really
I mean, I guess when you like take a step out of the situation, the whole thing is bizarre. So like, why are we shocked when something happens?
Why do they believe though that Katie couldn't hear them? Like clearly she could hear. Like they said that why would you believe that?
Yeah, I mean,
like what would be the point of doing it otherwise?
Yeah, I mean, like they think that they're gonna have you do this whole thing just so that only you and the person next to you can hear. Like, what's the point of the date then?
Yeah, seriously.
Katie doesn't get to know anything about you if that's
she just sees you running around.
Happened. Yeah, no, I don't know if maybe they did actually believe that. I don't know.
It's really hard to say. What did you think about all the food they had to eat?
It wasn't like I would eat Twinkies.
Me too. I thought it was really funny, because I was like, these guys are super health nuts.
The one guy that was like, I haven't had a carb in years. Yeah. I was like, yeah, not my type.
Seriously. Why don't you live a little bit more?
I'm like, I haven't had a carb in 5 minutes, and I'm actually craving one now watching you eat one.
I know. I was like, I'd love to get a Twinkie. Should I go get one? Just as we talk about it, just thinking, like, do they ever drink beer on the show? I feel like they only have liquor and wine. But I just feel like the men drink whiskey, and like, I just feel like there's not only are no carbs, there's certainly no beer.
I also feel like so I always thought that they barely had wine. They would just drink liquor out of wine glasses.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know why I thought that, but that's what I always thought. I'm like, there's no way that people are knocking back like 9 glasses of wine. Maybe they are. That sounds miserable to me. I love wine. I love wine, but like, I hate like wine drunk where you have like a stomach full of wine.
Yeah. And then all the sugar.
I don't know if you've ever thrown up off of wine.
Oh my God, I have not. I'm pleased to say.
Oh, throwing up red wine, what it looks like, it's like a massacre in the bathroom.
That's disgusting.
Sad that I know that, I guess.
That's really disgusting. Well, they limit them to 2 drinks an hour now. So like they're not supposed to drink as much, but that's still a lot. That. Yeah. After Corinne and DeMario had the incident in Bachelor in Paradise, they changed it to 2 drinks an hour.
2 drinks an hour?
But if I have 6 drinks over 3 hours, I'm wasted. Like I'm
a huge, I don't drink a lot, but when I do drink, I drink an enormous amount.
Like a college kid.
Oh, that's not how I thought that was going to come out.
It's okay.
But I mean, I'm like 6'1", 75 ish. So for those listening from the very beginning, yes, size 10 is not huge to me.
No.
But yeah, I feel like I could easily drink 2 drinks an hour and be totally fine. But maybe I'm not thinking about the 6 drinks in 3 hours doesn't seem like a lot.
I guess it depends on your tolerance and whatever.
Yeah, I think I have from going to the University of Florida. I think my tolerance is astronomical.
Probably.
Like shots. I'm a big shots person too.
My God. Maybe you should go on The Bachelor. You'd be able to really hang tough. Just kidding. You're married. But think about for the women though, like for the smaller women who also probably aren't eating very much.
For sure.
If they have like 6 cocktails over 3 hours, they're wasted.
Yeah. I didn't even think about that. Also, you have to think about the people we're talking about here. Like they're not the people that have like, Chick-fil-A for breakfast and In-N-Out for lunch. Like that's me. I can probably drink more. Someone who has like, they slice up a grape for
yeah, they like almonds for snack.
For breakfast, like almonds and like 4
They're
pieces
on the Khloe
of kale.
Kardashian diet, which is depressing. I'm assuming.
Well, I don't know if she's on a diet because they get up and they do the work every morning, and that's why.
That's why it looks the way they do.
Yeah. But yeah, so I'm sure alcohol probably affects people that eat that way and are super healthy and work out, and I'm sure it affects them much quicker.
We just
especially when they're like 5'3".
Yeah. We just haven't seen these men drunk really. Like I feel like in general, that's another big difference in Bachelor and Bachelorettes. We just don't see the men very drunk.
Has there been anyone that was like wasted yet? No, right?
No. It's a trope that I miss. I think it's gone. I think because of the show's problems, they just like don't heavily feature drunk people anymore. But it was a fun trope with everyone was, still safe and everything.
Yeah. I mean, it was nice. There was always like one drunk, especially on the first day.
Yeah,
because they're drinking for so long. There was always like night. 1 or 2 drunk guys.
Yeah, and that's back to Katie going to Blake's door. That probably was really late because she had finished a rose ceremony, so it probably was like 1 or 2 in the morning or something. And he was just when he was like sleeping. Yeah,
it didn't. That didn't seem staged to me.
No, it didn't either. I thought he genuinely seemed like he'd been sleeping and like because like the light was like blinding him, and he was like, "Oh, cameras." Yeah, I don't know. I liked it.
It was cute. I'm excited to see how the guys accept him since they're very like, I don't know, a unionized group. Someone commented, which I love, which was like, I am all for all unions for all people except for people on The Bachelor.
Yeah, agreed. It's not the place. Also, you're not employed, so like most of you don't even have jobs in the real world. Certainly not even here. It's true though. The group think. It does speak to Katie as a lead. And I also think this is like sort of like a change in leadership, including Chris Harrison and other people behind the scenes. Katie being so impacted by like the guys telling her who to get rid of is pretty weird. Like we've never really seen that before. And like maybe more people should have listened to like the crowd, but I don't know. I just think it's pretty weird.
I mean, was it annoying that like Matt did not listen about Victoria? Like, at some point it was, but it's also like, at least, Matt is just choosing whatever he thinks. And also I think it shows that like he was experiencing something completely different. So like, is it the edit? Is it the girl's reaction? Like he does not, I don't think that Katie should feel how the guys, first of all, the guys wanted Thomas to have an issue because they don't, I mean, I think he's threatening.
They need to sacrifice someone. Yeah.
Yeah. I think a 6'6" beautiful guy who seemed to be getting more time with Katie is intimidating, right?
For sure.
I think that they wanted him to be an issue and they were forcing it on him. Like, should we go around the room and ask everyone if they ever thought about being the Bachelor? I'm sure he's not the only guy.
If you're not thinking about it, you're living under a rock. And, and also like, let's have some practical conversations, people. Like that's not marriage material.
No, they also showed multiple people, like they showed Hunter talking to him. They showed, I think it was, Andrew S. talking to him. Like, why are all these people trying to like get something? Oh, I did appreciate the Andrew S. conversation, which was like, they're talking about you. They're bringing it up. So like, you're going to have to deal with it. I'm just letting you know. I appreciated that conversation.
Andrew and Aaron fighting was very funny to me. Be respectful. I was like what Aaron kept yelling.
Also, he was like, don't yell. And he's yelling. I'm like, you guys are both yelling. You can't tell someone not to yell at you when you're currently yelling at them.
I thought Andrew S. had a good point. Like, did they have to bring this to Katie?
No, there was nothing to bring.
I know. He didn't do anything. He just didn't do anything.
Also, Andrew's like, let her figure it out. Like, if she wants to be with him, that's who she wants to be with.
Yeah. Totally.
She's going to sniff it out. If we sniffed it out within 24 hours, like, let's give Katie a little bit more credit here.
I agree. And she's supposed to be like this, like strong woman. So like, let her do her thing and stand on her own. I don't know.
Yeah.
I wasn't that into that.
I also thought that like Trey,
Mm.
I'm like, I think part of the reason why you want to be the guy that says something is because you don't have a connection with her. And so you're trying to like, get in there somehow. Kind of like it seems like Aaron and Katie have more of a connection because of everything that they went through with Cody and then her going back to him and asking about Carl. So maybe Trey's like, maybe this is the way to have a connection with him. And I'm like, and even Andrew being like, kind of like, that's like, you're wasting your time. You shouldn't be talking about somebody else with your time with Katie. Like, why are we wasting our time with her?
Yeah.
About someone else?
Yeah. I thought the Trey thing was interesting that he got the rose. Like, I do think she probably wanted to give it to him. I was like, he didn't deserve it. All he did was snitch. Snitches shouldn't get roses, but we know what they get. And he's just like annoying. I don't know. I'm definitely not into Trey.
I also just feel like this sets a precedent. Like now people think like, oh, if I make something up and tell you, I'm going to get the group date rose. Like,
yeah.
I don't even remember Trey on the group date. And now he gets the group date rose because he went and told you something that like any of the guys could have told you.
Right. He didn't do anything unique.
Of course. Michael, I think handled it like beautifully.
Best. Yeah.
Yeah. And he like, I think he was like supportive, but also, addressed it lightly, but was like, I'm not wasting my time on this guy. Like, let's focus on me and you.
Yeah. Yeah. I know he's an adult. And you know what?
Yeah.
I feel bad for Hunter. I think Hunter is also an adult, and Katie posted on her Instagram that she and Hunter had done a toast to his like 10 years of sobriety, I believe. And that night she didn't drink. She had cider to like join him in being sober, which is really classy. I remember Tayshia talking about doing that with Zach, and they just didn't show that. And it's like Hunter is just like a total caricature, but he seems like an interesting guy who actually has like an interesting backstory, and he's also a father. And I'm just like, they're doing a lot of these guys dirty. Like we either don't hear from them at all, or they are totally like stripped of what makes them like unique people. And I'm sort of like, I would like to get to know these guys. I actually like to know who they are and know about them.
Yeah. And then I feel like that makes you cheer for them more, which makes the show more interesting, which I think that is part of the thing that's lacking is like the past 2 seasons, editors have focused so much on the drama that I'm like, I don't even know. Like, I remember at the end of last season, I was like, I don't even know who Matt has a connection with. Like all I know about is the drama, which seems to kind of be this season. Maybe there's a little bit more, like you can kind of see there's a connection with Greg, can kind of see there's a connection with Michael, kind of see it with Andrew, but like, I don't feel anything yet about any of the relationships. And like, usually after like night 1 of other seasons, you're like, this person's it. This is going to be the person. And they just, the producers are focusing too much on the drama. Do we need drama? For sure. But like, that's not what like this show has been able to last on for forever.
There's no sexual connection yet, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. Like we like the connections with like a sprinkle of drama, not drama with like a sprinkle of connections, which I feel like the last 2 seasons have been edited that way.
Yeah. And like with Tayshia and Zach, you could see it. Like when they would like sit on on a bench together, like they would like just very quickly fall into like a really cute position. You could like see their physical chemistry. Yeah. And that happens a lot. And I just feel like we haven't seen that at all yet.
No, I also think with Hunter, I don't know if you saw the previews for next week, but I'm like, I think they want to edit him a certain way. And so they're not going to show more of like who he is as a person because he's going to be a crazy person next episode. It seems.
Poor Hunter. I don't know. I don't really, like I said, I don't know a lot about him, but I feel for him for some reason. I'm just like,
well, I think that
better.
I think you feel for him because you've done like more research on him. And so you're like, wait, he actually has a story that is not being told whatsoever. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. You get it. I just, maybe in Paradise or something, although not always the best place for telling stories.
Yeah. I mean, I hope that Thomas goes to Paradise. I would have to assume that he would.
Definitely.
Yeah. So I'm hoping he's there and we get to see that he's actually not a bad guy. And I can tell everyone that they were wrong and I was right. If he ends up being a bad guy, I'll admit it.
I like that. Whenever I get someone to like agree with me or like take my side in like a disagreement or a debate or an argument, I'm like, thank you. I love to be correct.
That just reminds me of yesterday. My husband and I were debating about some like basketball thing in the pool. And I was like me, my husband, my brother, and my sister-in-law debating this topic. And obviously like everyone's drinking. And so we're like going back and forth. My husband was like, I'm trying to prove your point. And I was like, yes, correct. Thank you. Thank you for proving my point. And he was like, no, I meant I'm trying to prove my point. And I was like, you said it right first time.
Feels so good to win. I just love to win. This reminds me, I was talking to some people who know Thomas from college. He went to University of San Diego, and they're like, yeah, he's like a nice, normal guy. So the streets are saying he's a nice guy. We just didn't get to see it.
I feel like he is. So I'm hoping he gets redemption on Bachelor in Paradise. And I hope, well, no, I don't hope that. I hope Katie finds someone and is happy after this. But I hope that she does regret the way that she treated him. Hopefully by the Men Tell All episode. I don't know if it's going to happen by then, but hopefully by then.
She probably won't, but who knows? Depends if she's engaged or not right now. I'm really curious.
Also, I did get like 1 or 2 comments of people being like, Katie is getting what she deserves based on her season with Matt.
What? Because she was like the one who told him about the drama?
Yes. And so now she's like falling for whatever anyone's telling her about the drama. I personally feel like she dealt with the Matt season totally fine. I have no issues with how Katie dealt with it, but I guess people are still thinking that she didn't handle it right.
Yeah. I mean, that was a much uglier situation than what's going on here because there was like real bullying and
damaging.
Victoria. Yeah. It was like a bad person. Whereas here it's just sort of like, we have no idea. Like, all we hear is shouting. It's like from Anchorman. They scream loud noises.
Also, I'm like, it's fine. Like if the guys don't like you, they could just not like you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't mean that you did anything wrong.
Totally. Just like, okay, there's just no connection. Doesn't always work out. You might like each other.
No, not everyone's going to like me.
Yeah. Seriously.
And that's fine. I'm not going to like everyone either.
Trust me. I know that one. It's just, you're got a big personality. It's just that's how it goes.
Me too. So I'm like, that's fine. That doesn't mean we have to like hate each other. We can just not like each other and move on with life.
Yeah. I just feel like there's no way that she ends up married from what's with this season. I just don't see it.
This group of guys where she's at right now, if I had to guess, I'm going to say no.
Yeah. And a lot of the time the Bachelorettes end up married. Like I believe Zach and Tayshia, if they don't get married, will date for like a long time. Like I really do. And I just don't see that with Katie though. She doesn't seem like these guys are a good fit for her.
No, I don't see anyone that I'm like, that makes sense. The only guy I could see her actually marrying is Michael. And I don't think that she would pick him.
Same. And I don't know that they're a great fit. They seem like they have really different like personas and I don't know. Is she ready to be a stepmom? I don't know, but that's a big part of being with Michael. So just something for her to consider. I just don't see this ending in marriage for her, but you know what? That's fine. Maybe this road will lead her to meeting someone she maybe wouldn't have met in her regular life because now she's going to be famous. So Katie, good luck.
Well, I'm like really trying to think if there's anyone that I think is even ready for marriage out of the guys.
Michael.
Yeah, Michael.
He's the only one. And like maybe Hunter, but we don't know.
I mean, I think Katie, based on what we've seen from the 2 seasons so far, I think she could be a stepmom.
Sure. No, I'm not saying she can't, but like, is that the point
she
in her life?
To?
I don't know.
I also think it would be hard to go on a show like this and then jump into that.
Yes,
like,
absolutely.
Your options are jumping into that or going to like hipster parties in New York with 7 other people from The Bachelor and like living life. I think it's a tough choice. How old's Katie?
She's 30.
At 30, I think that's a difficult choice.
Yeah, you can really go in either direction. Depends
also,
where you are in your life.
You could end up with like Jake Gyllenhaal. You never know. You know what I mean?
Is that the
like,
celebrity you see for Katie? Interesting.
I was trying to think of someone who made sense. I feel like a lot of the
Do you watch Succession?
Yes. Love Succession.
What about Cousin Greg for Katie?
Oh, actually love Cousin Greg for Katie. I saw him talking about somebody somewhere.
Nicholas Braun. I think he watches The Bachelor, actually. I tried to get him on the podcast before.
Was he talking about Tayshia?
I think so. He watches this show. I emailed his PR.
I was going to say, I think he was talking about someone somewhere where I was like, did not see that being your type, but very cool. Yeah. But yeah, I love Cousin Greg. I think he's hilarious on the show.
Me too. Can't make a Tomlet without breaking a few Gregs. I love it.
Could definitely see Katie with someone like him. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like most of these like people end up with like country singers or football players or like, so like, that's also like, you know, your plan B. Like you go to the hipster party in Brooklyn for a couple of like months and then you end up with Cousin Greg.
Cousin Greg, who, is in New York. Yeah, seriously. The choices coming out of the show, LA or New York, actor or athlete, influencer or marketing. It's just sort of like, those are the choices you have to make.
Also, I would say the last season seems like a lot of people chose New York.
Yes, they did.
And like previous seasons, it's been very LA heavy.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Tyler and Matt started that trend. So I don't know. I'm for it.
Oh, that makes sense. Because they were in New York bunking together.
Literally sharing a room.
Tyler sharing a beanbag.
Yeah, a beanbag, which is super, super weird. I mean, I had so many questions when I learned that. I was like, well, I guess they never brought girls home. They always just went to wherever the girls lived.
Yeah. But also like Tyler ended up with like one of the prettiest girls walking planet Earth.
Yeah, I'd say so. And like hanging out with like Serena Williams. So Tyler did a great job.
Yeah. So I'm like, if I'm
can you believe that Tyler Cameron had dinner with Serena Williams based on being on The Bachelorette? Is that insane?
It's insane, but it's not because so many people watch this show.
Yeah, I know.
It is insane, but I'm not like shocked by it. But again, like if Tyler was dating a girl on this or found a girl on the show that he really liked, she was a widow and she had a kid, like it's like, do I want to jump into this or do I want to date the prettiest girl on planet Earth and go to dinner with Serena? Probably prettiest girl on the earth and dinner with Serena. That's the choice I'm probably choosing.
Especially at like the age of 27 when you're as hot as Tyler.
I am glad that they like backed up the age a little bit. It seems like they've gone older.
Yeah. And it's way better. I think they should even go a little bit older. I feel like people actually like make better rational decisions and also like just have sex faster when they're older. And it's like more entertaining.
Yeah. I also was just thinking, I'm like, maybe I like that also because I'm older. So I'm like, let's back it up. Let's keep going back. I don't want to watch a bunch of 22-year-olds like try to find love.
I know. You're just like, we know it's not going to work out with you. We've been there. We're not under the delusion.
No. Yeah. So maybe that's why I like it being older. I'm not sure. But yeah, even also a little older, I feel like you get a little bit more like a true crazies.
Oh,
like if you're still crazy at 30, if you're still crazy at that age, it's like, it is deep craziness.
It's not going away. It's never leaving. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by eBay Authenticity Guarantee. eBay knows that when it comes to jewelry, authenticity is the real gem. When you see the blue check mark that says Authenticity Guarantee, it means your next piece will be carefully inspired by jewelry experts and will always be worth its weight in gold. Whether you're looking to make a statement or build the perfect everyday look, eBay is making sure you get the real deal. With eBay Authenticity Guarantee, you can trust that jaw-dropping piece will always arrive jaw-droppingly real. Ensure your next purchase is the real deal. Visit ebay.com for terms. This episode is brought to you by Visible. Maybe you've already let your New Year's resolution slip. We all have, but you can still make a 2 year's resolution with Visible. Right now, you can get a one-line wireless plan from Visible for just $20 per month for 24 months. 24 months is basically 4 Bachelor seasons. That could be 4 engagements, 4 broken engagements. So many other couples we didn't see coming. It's really an eternity in Bachelor Nation. And that's unlimited 5G data powered by Verizon with no annual contracts. Switch now at Visible.com and use the code VISIBLE24. Don't miss out. Offer ends January 31st. New members only. Promotional rate with service on the Visible plan. For additional terms and network management practices, see Visible.com.
This episode is brought to you by State Farm. You might say all kinds of stuff when things go wrong, but these are the words you really need to remember. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. They've got options to fit your unique insurance needs, meaning you can talk to your agent to choose the coverage you need. Have coverage options to protect the things you value most. File a claim right on the State Farm mobile app and even reach a real person when you need to talk to someone. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
This makes me think of Erica Rose, who was on The Bachelor and then was a guest on Below Deck Sailing Yacht this past season. She was crazy. That's what made me think of it. And now I want to talk about Below Deck Sailing Yacht, which we said we would do. I think this reunion, this 2-part reunion with the addendum of John JL talking to Andy Cohen is unbelievable. I can't believe we have to go into Below Deck Med so quickly because I'm not ready, because I'm still processing like everything that went down. Not only the Danny and JL stuff, but even like Gary learning on the reunion that Allie was pregnant and him being like obviously so upset. That was crazy. He was floored.
Yeah, he was shocked. He also, like, right before that was like, we were in a full-blown relationship when we got off the show, which I was like, wait, what? Because clearly she's like, I don't know how far along she is.
I think she's like 5 months.
Like far enough along where there wasn't that much of a time off between her boyfriend now and Gary.
Yeah, absolutely. She like went from one to the other.
But like,
Gary seems like a horrible boyfriend. Just absolutely awful.
Well, yeah, then we found out he had a girlfriend.
Who he hadn't seen in 8 months. Is that still a relationship? If you have, and who knows how many people he cheated on her with?
I think it's only a relationship if you're in jail. Like, if you're in prison or jail and you can't see your significant other, fair. You don't have a choice.
Sure.
But like any other time, why?
Yeah, how can you explain that? 8 months? Like, if you can't make an effort to see each other in 8 months, you really should break up. There's no reason.
Army might be another one, or like Navy, if you're
military.
Serving. Military, yeah, I can understand that completely as well. Those are the
military
only
and jail. Those are the only reasons. It's true. I mean, so that was like also, so weird.
In both of those situations, you kind of know what you're signing up for. Sure. So like, if you're not signing up for that and to not see someone for 8 months, what are we doing here?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like, that's just like a long distance friend. If you're even talking. Yeah, pen pal. Exactly.
Especially if you're on a boat. So like you're barely talking at that.
I don't understand how yachties have relationships. Like, I just don't get it. They go such long periods of time without seeing each other. Of course you start dating someone on the boat.
You got to see Colin and and they seemed kind of normal.
Yeah,
like,
they broke up.
He seemed to make sure, he seems sure to like make sure to contact her, make sure to like,
not do anything that would embarrass her when she watched it on TV.
He did nothing. Like he was a perfect boyfriend.
Yes, he was. He's also just seems perfect and wonderful.
He
really
was
hot.
Very hardworking.
Too rustic for me. He was like off the grid before the reunion, like in the jungle of Panama. So that's not my style, but I do love Colin a lot.
He also seemed very rational. Like when things were happening on the boat, like when Gary was like, I think I'm just going to have sex with her to make Sydney mad. And he was just like, no, bro, no.
Don't do that.
That's not what you're supposed to do. That's not how you don't look at the situation and think that's the answer.
Absolutely. I mean, just the whole Danny JL stuff. I can't believe this happened. I thought Danny acquitted herself so wonderfully. The way that she made a point to be like, I wish he was here to defend himself was so crucial and like so opposite of almost anyone else on Bravo. Like she's not looking to like tell a one-sided story. She's not trying to screw anyone over.
I don't even think she bashed him. Like
she didn't.
She was just
she
like,
just said what happened. And then he confirmed it. He was like, yes, that's all correct.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I can't believe that happened.
Don't get how he was like, I want to, if I'm the dad, like I'm willing to take a paternity test. And she's like, I mean, this is also off on social media, but like, you could, I'm happy to let you take a paternity test. Like we've tried, I'm just not paying for it.
I guess that also he would have to go to Australia for it, right? Like wherever she is.
You have a kid there. You're going to have to go to Australia at some point.
Well, I think I'm not trying to defend him, but there are strict quarantine rules in Australia. So like maybe that's part of it. But yeah, like he should have, someone asked me this, like what should he have done? And I'm curious what you think. My take is he didn't necessarily have to move to Australia, but he should have checked in with her frequently. They should have made a plan about co-parenting. They should have made a plan about sharing finances. And he should have made plans to be there when the baby was born. Like, just like account for the quarantine and like be present is the point instead of doing what he did, which is ghosting.
Well,
and
I also just think at the bare minimum, it's your kid.
Yeah, I know. The timeline, man. We're on a fucking boat.
The timeline is just like, there's literally no other option. I would get if it was like not during filming and like maybe she could have done something else. Like you guys weren't fully together, whatever. But like the timeline is you were fully on the boat with her. There's no other option.
I know
here.
There's no gray area here. And they hung out after.
Yeah. So it's just like at the bare minimum, you have to accept that it's yours and take accountability for that and then figure it out. Do I need you to have like a whole mapped out plan and have all the answers? Like, no, this was an unexpected pregnancy during COVID. You guys live in different countries. it's not the easiest situation ever. 100%. I'm not asking you to be an expert on something you've never experienced, nor were thinking this was going to happen. But you've had months now to try to start to figure it out. And we're still not at step one. You're still not saying it's for sure you're a kid.
Yeah. He's just so immature. And then it was pretty interesting watching him watch the clip and like having him asked to see it a second time. I was just like, found that riveting. I mean, that's sort of like, you know, not trying to reduce Danny's situation down to that, but it was pretty wild television. And like, he's just such a coward. And to see the entire cast just be like, what's wrong with you, man? I was pretty wild. It's like the one thing they agree on, literally.
Yeah. I think he's also just super young.
Yeah, he's 24. And also that's the thing, like I don't blame him for like not being well equipped for this, you know? Like he's 24, he wasn't ready for this. But she was honest. She was like, I want to have kids. And she also
she never led him to believe that this was not what she wanted.
Yeah.
Also, like if you're getting someone pregnant, then you're doing something where there's a chance of that happening.
Yeah, like as an adult, you need to be aware that there's a chance of that.
I mean, also, I don't know, maybe I just like take STDs really seriously, but I was just like, a doctor telling me that it's probably chafing, but has not actually seen what's going on, and I'm still having sex with you without a condom on is probably not happening.
Definitely. That was like, it just like went over that really quickly. Also, I feel like when everyone was upset that when Daisy was like, it's fine, like she was annoyed that she wanted to leave the boat, I was like, no, I get it. Like she's freaking out. Also, if she wanted to go to I would want to go to a doctor right away.
100%.
Course.
I'm going to a doctor. You're going to a doctor.
Yeah,
Sending
we're getting off the boat. Yeah.
Is not going to help me want to still have sex with you. That's not happening.
I completely agree. I was just like,
I was like, wait, so the doctor was just like, most likely it's chafing. I'm like, most likely? So we're just going to keep going on with life with a most likely?
It just went by the whole thing went by really quickly. It just sort of moved on. It was funny the way they handled it, but I was also like, wait. Like,
yeah, no. Also, I actually like really appreciated Natasha being like, I handled things wrong.
Yeah,
like,
Natasha is awesome and so cool that they became friends.
Yeah, I think you told me like you loved Daisy, right?
Yes, loved her. Great.
Yeah, I was like on Daisy. Just like I liked her. She was great. Good. Obviously, I think she's a really good chief stew. I just thought that like the whole her asking for so much help from the like deck crew, like I was totally on their side of like, we don't ask you for anything.
Yeah, I know. And
I feel like she relied on them an enormous amount, which means like someone in your group isn't doing their job. If you have to ask for their help that much, someone's not doing their job.
And also, I do think being on the exterior seems way harder than the interior.
Way harder.
Even though the interior like still like exhausting, shitty work, it just seems easier.
I think interior is more annoying.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to do laundry or like make beds and vacuum, but it's way harder to be like a deckhand.
I could not imagine having to clean up after people in like the boat rooms.
Me neither.
Like hotel rooms, I feel like is different. Like the boat rooms are just so tiny quarters and they're in them so much.
And everything's like damp and it's just like not great.
No.
Also, I was watching Med last night, the first episode, which I enjoy. You know, Below Deck's always good. I'm just, like I said, not ready to move on, but it did really remind me how small the sailing yacht is compared to the motor yacht. Like,
interesting.
They were doing the pref sheet meeting and they had like so much room in the crew mess. And then even like the guest quarters were just like so much bigger.
Yeah.
And just and they had like a large hot tub. It was just like way nicer. I was like,
we talked about this offline, but like, I genuinely want to know why, if you're spending that much money, why you're choosing to sail.
You have to just like the adventure, I guess. I don't know. There's no other reason because it's clearly way more luxurious on the motor yacht.
Yeah, I wonder if the price difference is significant as well.
It must be because it is just way shittier. It's like, it still seems fun. And if you're like into sailing, that's awesome. But like, there's no question that the motor yacht's much better. No question. I
also just think my family all being like large humans, like watching Sailing Yacht, I was like, we could never do this. We're all JLs. Imagine like a group full of JLs. Like it would be so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. You would not be able to fit in to the rooms, literally.
No.
It would be rough. Anyway, that was an incredible finale. I mean, great job by everyone on the Sailing Yacht crew. I mean, great television. I appreciate it. This will never happen again with Allie and Danny being moms now. So we'll,
yeah, I know. I was going to say the last like few seasons of Below Deck, people have been just getting pregnant.
Yeah. Guess that's what happened to get off the yacht, Hannah.
I was not expecting Allie to get pregnant at all.
Me neither. Shocked. That happened so quickly. I don't see
also,
with that guy.
One note before we wrap this up. They all looked different.
So different.
Allie looked significantly different to me on the reunion. Looked great. But actually, the only person I feel like Gary looked the same.
He looked exactly the same. So did Colin. Colin was like wearing his like personal brand shirt.
I feel like they have like a very like disheveled look about them. Colin's more put together disheveled, but it's still like could have been in a jungle yesterday, to your point.
Yeah.
Like that's how they both like the fact that Gary came on the show with his hair wet.
I know.
And was just like, oh yeah, it's not dry yet. I'll wait till it's dry. I'm like, you knew what time the reunion was.
Seriously. Like also,
why isn't your hair dry?
So crazy. Really last note. Also love that everyone was in a far-flung place, whether it was like Melbourne, Sydney, Palma, and then
all over the place.
Natasha was in Maryland. I'm just like, okay.
Also, I don't know if you follow Natasha I actually don't even follow her, but on social, she spent time with
Barry.
Yeah. And then she's like easily the worst group. And I'm like, are you friends with him or like what?
So funny. I did catch that. I was like, okay, if you want to spend time with them, not the guest I would choose, but sure.
No. But yeah, I think that obviously they're all in like random places, but I mean, this is, I guess like, that's their life.
Yeah.
They just hop on boats.
I guess so. I can't imagine it. It was funny when Allie was like, yeah, I'm going to do the land life for a little bit because she signed a lease. And I was like, you mean life? You're just going to do life.
The land life, the average life, you mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the yachting life. I don't know I don't think I'm built for it.
I get seasick, so I'm not either. I would need to be on Dramamine the whole time.
But I mean, I guess this is something that people really want to do.
Yeah, there's obviously a market for it. And it gave us some great TV. I'm going to miss Captain Glenn while we have to go through this Captain Sandy season, but that's okay.
Oh, you're not a Captain Sandy fan.
She's okay. Just Glenn's so wonderful. He's the best.
I think I like the element that Captain Sandy brings to it because she creates some of the drama and is like feistier. I feel like Glenn is just like, so whatever. Chill. If you guys want to like go drink, like he didn't really like get on them ever.
Well, I think also part of it is they couldn't leave the boat. So like he had to be more lenient with what they could do.
He said that at the reunion where he was like, everyone was like, why are you letting them do all this? And it's like, they're stuck on this boat. They can't even get off.
There's no other option.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. Well,
Chelsea,
we'll be back next week. More Batch and probably some Bravo stuff. We'll see. Who knows what else we'll be watching. Thank you so much for listening. I'll still be back on Monday. There is an episode on July 5th. So talk to you then. And thank you to Isaiah Blakely for producing this episode.